happening, ladies? Give me a 1 if I sound okay, and put a 2 if I sound like a robotic bitch. Just gonna wait here for a second to see what's happening. Thank you, Colette. What's going on, y'all? It's Taco Tuesday around this motherfucker. Live Life is here. Colette is here. Choco Cat is here. Kyra's here. Ruth is here. Y'all was here early. Pony Bitch is here. Pony Bitch, that is such a fucking funny name. I don't know what to do with that. Radical Renounced Woman is here. Hey, Religion Free, how are you? Unseelie is here. Y'all, I am just sitting here with a Cheshire Cat smile on my face. You know how when you just know what you know and watching things unfold, it's amazing. I've been having a very awesome week, followed by an awesome Monday, and today Tuesday. I saw someone share with me a screenshot, right, of something that happened in Clubhouse, right? It's this woman. Well, fuck it. Let me just show you. I'll go back up to the other shit I was going to share with you. I just want to get this straight real quick. Share screen. Because these women have lost their goddamn minds. We'll scroll all past all this shit here for a second because you already know what we fixing to do with these folks. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Boom. This right here. What? This right here. Listen. This unnamed person says, say it with me. Divestment and interracial dating is not the same thing. She's right there. Absolutely. That more describes swirling. She's correct. She said, I'm married to a bowel movement, but I'm absolutely divested. Listen, no, you're not. No, you're not. And it trips me out. By the way, you got to know when you over there in Clubhouse and you over here talking shit like this, there's a bunch of people around you that don't agree with you. They're just not allowed in a lot of the rooms, from what I understand. I myself am not on Clubhouse. But this right here is a crock of shit. It comes from the women that always complain about appropriation of some shit. They lose their mind when they see Becky in cornrows. Trying to redefine what something already is. No, you're not divested. You're actually interracially dating and acknowledging how toxic the Black community is at the same time. But you were not willing to jump up off that shit log. That's what that means. You're not going to keep changing the definition to suit who you are. You can try, and I think it's real cute. But no matter how many times you say this stupid shit, it's not going to work. People see through it. You could be an ally at best, especially with my brand of it. Okay? Sitting up there, acknowledging that the Black community is toxic by way of calling yourself a divester, but then turning around and fucking that man. No, we're not going. We're not doing this shit. And I don't care how mad you get about it. You are what people call, like, I'll give you another example. You know how some Black women, and I happen to agree with this part, but I'm just going to use it as an example. They go, no, she's not Black, she's biracial. No, she's not Black, she's biracial. That's the same shit you doing. You sitting up there biracial as fuck, calling yourself Black. Baby, you're not divested. I know the movement looks cute, and I know the name is ringing bells right now, but you're not that. I appreciate the fact that you like divestment, but that ain't gonna work. Shane, listen, am I saying something wrong here?
Not at all. Not at all. It's like they kind of just remind me of the Nakers who just try to find some way to squeeze their raggedy asses into something successful without doing any kind of fucking work. That's what it sounds like to me.
They stay saying, "Oh, they taking this from us." Y'all been talking about somebody taking something from y'all for the longest, all dating all the way back to slavery. Oh, they took our land and resources. Oh, and here you go, you just like them. Just gonna say, oh, I see a divested word right there. Let me go ahead and snatch that up real quick. And now I'm divested. Y'all are just like the people that you complain about. That's why nobody believes anything you say. There's nothing wrong with being a swirler if that's what make you happy. It just doesn't suit a lot of women that are in divestment, point blank, period. What you divesting from? What are you divesting from when you sitting up there sucking on shit logs? I'm just curious. I'm curious. Aaliyah, it's on you.
Well, somebody has definitely told her wrong. But, let me just say this because, I've been hearing about a lot of bullshit on Clubhouse. And let me just say this. I don't give a fuck about what none of them stank ass bitches run over there and whine and cry and complain about for 8 and 9 hours at a time. All that tells me is that you bitches need to get jobs or take some cooking classes or sewing classes or pottery classes or whatever you need to, since you have all this extra free time on your hands to cry and talk shit about a situation that you have absolutely no control over. Nobody over here gives a fuck whether or not you think the message is too extreme. You are not the only one with a voice or an opinion, and none of you get to decide what's best for everybody else. I don't give a fuck if you were here when Moses parted the Red Sea. That's of no consequence to me. So you can keep on crying and we'll keep on being extreme. And at the end of the day, we still ain't got to fuck with nobody we don't want to. And yes, that does include your unicorns.
I was gonna go ahead, right, and I was gonna start off the show with something else, but this right here is a hot mess. This right here is a hot ass mess. No matter how
I
many
could
times you
divine.
repeat it, no matter how many times you repeat it, it's not going to be true, right? So you can knock it off or you can continue to make yourself look stupid. You're going to end up arguing with the women over there because, from what I understand, over there on Clubhouse is sort of divided as to whether you can be with a black man and be divested. I don't even know why that's a question. Yes,
I
it's
know
about.
why.
Go ahead, baby.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Listen, no. No, I'm talking very, very slowly so you can understand what I'm saying. No, no. You sitting up here, it's like you would say dating a black man that speaks Spanish is interracial dating. Girl, that's a crock of shit. That is a nigga that likes mangoes. That's a nigga that knows how to cook maybe something very, very tasty with tons of picante sauce in it. But no, you're not interracially dating whatsoever. We're getting the lines blurred around here, all because people have preferences for unicorns that don't exist, and it's just a bad look. Go
See,
ahead,
what
Ebony.
you,
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. I'm glad you spoke slowly, DZ. I'm really happy you did that. I mean, that was English as far as I'm concerned. But here's the reason why we say hashtag all and that you cannot say hashtag not all. Here's the deal. You know how white people cannot be fully invested in a community that's not theirs? You know how white people, whether they understand or acknowledge their racism or not, they cannot be fully informed on what it means to be black. Okay, there's your divestment argument there. They cannot be fully invested in the black community ever. Now we say all hashtag all because a black man can never be fully divested from the black community. He may try. He may have Becky after one, two, 300 Beckys, but he gets something out of the system. Just like white people get something out of the system of white supremacy, they get something out of a patriarchy. They have some type of privilege. Why would they give that ish up? That is why they don't ever call other black men on the carpet when they're doing stupid things, when they're doing dangerous things. Okay? That is why we don't accept your buddy. Okay? Thank you.
Y'all, I can't. L, before I move on to these rabbit ass unicorns, do you have anything to add to that? Because this is so it's annoying. It really is. It's annoying and funny at the same time when I see comments like this. It's like, girl, bye. What's happening, L?
Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
Um,
hey.
I just want to say that that comment is extremely delusional as hell, and this is all it is that she don't want to admit the fact that she just still want to be with a black man. She trying to act, oh well, let me just say I'm divested. No, that's not what that is. Just admit that you still like Blackistan and black males and let it go at that because your actions are clearly displaying that. So why are you trying to do one thing and then trying to get us to think that what you're doing or what we see you doing is not really what you're actually doing?
I gotta know, man. Yeah, you want to be divested, but your addiction to the shit log, you need a 12-step program that's gonna get you off of that. I'm not saying you can't be divested one day. That's not what I'm saying at all. But while you're sitting there, letting the tip of that thing touch your tonsils and getting up, having to brush your teeth and wonder why your shit still stank, baby, that's not divestment. That's the one that's interested in it, but not yet got the fucking balls to do it. That's
Okay,
all that
see,
is.
what it is I think that a lot of these women, they are having some serious buyer's remorse right about now, because unicorns are these whimsical mythological creatures with grace and beauty, and their men have always been violent and uncontrollable savages, basically. And it's like, now that you see that the community is a complete shit show and everything is going to hell, now all of a sudden you want to jump ship, but not really. You see what I'm saying? So they think that I can still kind of feed the urge that I have for the BBC. But at the same time, since I know everything is going straight to hell in a handbasket right now, I'm just gonna play this whole divestment card. And it's like, no, baby, you need to pick a side and stay there. Fuck the dumb shit.
It's
See,
putting
that's what they don't
yourself
want to
your
do.
safety first. It's all about putting your safety first, putting you first. Putting your safety first is putting you first. You first got to get to that point, because when you sit up here and prefer the men that fuck you up the most, that should tell you right there that you're not divested. You wouldn't even prefer such a motherfucker. Somebody got you dropping every 5.5 hours. Somebody that's leaving you a single mother 77% of the time. Somebody that's whooping your ass 3 times as much as other women. And that's your preference, sis, you're not
Exactly.
divested. That you're
And that's
not
what I'm
divested.
saying.
Let
Exactly.
me
They know that.
let me
Mhm.
define your unicorn for you. Okay, so you can go to Webster's or Oxford or whoever and look it up. Okay, but see, that definition does not really apply to you because they don't exist. They don't exist. They don't exist. Any black man who has a little bit of coin, or he may be a church going, whatever, he may be a good man in your eyes, he's still connected to Blackistan. True divestment is doing that hard work, like DZ said, doing the hard work and completely cutting off from that mess and getting yourself somewhere safe, keeping your purse together, keeping you together. That's divestment.
Kenyatta, let me tell you something, homeboy. It's been a minute since you came around here, so I suspect you just may have gotten released from prison, right? I'm sure your probation officer wants you to do something better than what you're doing. I'm absolutely still at this. It's called perseverance and it's called keeping promises, something that you guys are unfamiliar with. I don't know where you've been, but wherever you have been, you're more than welcome to go back. Kenyatta, ask for a refund and take your $5 back over there. I don't know how much your probation is, but I'm sure the state would appreciate if those funds are paid on time. I'm good, home team. Kenyatta, listen, don't forget to check in with your probation officer. Make sure you piss and clean urine. Keep your hands off these women and do what you got to do. But this ain't it. Okay? It's not it. Back to the regularly scheduled programming. All right, y'all. Check it out. We was talking about unicorns. Okay, let's go back to the top. Okay, you done got a sneak peek at what's going on here. Hashtag divest. This is a very, very, very intelligent woman named Michelle Hord. Okay, very pretty black woman. She's accomplished. She also was a producer for GMA, Good Morning America. Very accomplished. This is her husband or ex-husband. This is their daughter. If you know anything about Blackistan, want to take a stab at how this story ended up? Because he's a unicorn, you know. There had never been any fucking calls or previous history of domestic violence called to their house. Not one incident. Not one incident. But I will tell you this, there had to be red flags. But since you found your unicorn, you wanted to take yourself through some bullshit. And I'm getting ready to show you the bullshit she went through. And it's very, very sad. Very sad. Let me remove this shit here. Okay? And share my screen again. Y'all gonna fuck around and learn today that this ain't it. You don't have a unicorn because they don't exist. Okay? Next thing, the tooth fairy don't exist. Clearly. Fuck around here ain't got no teeth and all kind of shit. It's a mess. Very sweet little girl. Let's go.
How would you describe her to someone?
Effervescent. It was like her little feet never touched the ground. Bubbly.
Fair use, by the way. This is a cute little girl. Fair use.
A great sense of humor. A little bossy.
7-year-old Gabrielle was the love of Michelle Ward's life.
I can feel her spirit. There are times, especially if I'm in the ocean or in quiet, where I literally can hear her say, "Keep going, mommy. Keep going, mommy. Don't give up."
It's the power of a mother's everlasting love and heartbreak. Michelle's beautiful daughter, taken from her in the most unimaginable way.
11, I can't wait to see you.
June 6th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You get a call from Gabrielle's nanny,
Mm-hmm.
and it's every mother's worst nightmare.
She was screaming and she said, "There's blood everywhere."
Now imagine being on the phone with your nanny and you could barely understand what she's saying, but what you did catch was there's blood everywhere and she's in possession of your child, supposed to be. Okay? This video is 6 minutes long. I'm not going to take you guys through all of this. We're going to take this shit by bits and pieces, and then we're going to move on to more unicorns because you asked for unicorns, and this is what you get. This is what you get.
And I said, "Get out of the house." And I got on my knees and collapsed and said, "God, I do not know what I'm walking into, but give me the strength to walk into it." And that moment obviously will just be seared in my memory. My pastor standing there grabbing me out of the car to tell me that she was gone.
Murdered at the hands of her own father, just hours after Michelle and Gabrielle's dad finalized their divorce. Was there ever any indication, anything during your marriage?
One of the things that I've had to come to terms with is that there sometimes is not an explanation for things, that you have to live with. It will never make sense.
Now, I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that. Listen, there is never a time, right? Usually when somebody snaps, they snap on strangers. They snap at any given moment's notice. This was planned out because his ass was evil already. Like I said, there was no history of domestic violence. There was no police calls, no 911 calls, no nothing, right? She moving on about her day and she gets this phone call. You think that you can find a unicorn? Absolutely not. Why you're in even wanting what people are calling a unicorn, I don't know. The fact of the matter is they've proven that they don't like you and they don't like children. Again, they don't like you. They don't like children. So you go give them you and then in turn give them children. And that makes no goddamn sense. Nobody has been able to explain to me why this is necessary and why it can't be curtailed. I'm starting to think you women are crazy. Y'all are nuts, Black women. You want this that goddamn bad? I can't do this with you. I can't do this with you. That little girl she was gorgeous, number one. She had a great personality, number two. And the problem I'm having is she favored her father. Is this the most active fathers, most involved dad shit y'all was talking about? Because I'm going to have to agree with you if that's what you're talking about. I've been watching for over, I don't know fucking how long, these women give birth to these babies, no matter whether they're uneducated, no matter whether they're short, tall, big, fat, skinny, whatever. Just giving babies to men that actually don't want them. It's hard to believe that they don't like children, but ladies, they don't like children, not even their own children. They mad at their own mama for even giving birth to them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Ebony, you shared this with me. Can you chime in here?
Yeah, I think what was just so upsetting is that I want that little kid. I would have easily walked off with her whistling.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here, nothing to see her. She's in my car, but what, now that's the thing. What DC and some of these other YouTubers are doing, Black women, is a public safety announcement to you. Okay. Like I said, Black men have something in it for themselves. They cannot be divested. So it's the same thing. If you had a powdered white donut, is what you guys called them or whatever, or a Black adjacent white guy, and you got with him, and he is very adjacent to Blackistan. He's acting like he's from Blackistan. That's not divested either. We just know that the men in our or Blackistani community or collective are the most dangerous people on the planet when it comes to women. And they're not just dangerous to Black women. They're just most often dangerous to Black women. Do you see that distinction? Okay.
I'm so tired that white men do it too. I'm so fucking tired of that bullshit.
They do it to every woman that they come. I mean, a lot of women have domestic violence. A lot of women have gotten killed. My point is, your brothers from Africa or wherever, from the islands or whatever, they don't mind trading and selling women and girls. They don't mind brutalizing women and girls. They don't mind cutting your life short. Okay, so when you look at our population in the United States compared to the white population, yeah, their women get beat up too, but not as often as we do.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And for some reason, Blackistan doesn't like facts. I got a whatever he is. I can't say what he is here, y'all. I can't. It's real difficult up here because I'm used to talking to y'all somewhere else. But boy, y'all, they can't help themselves. They can't. I want to get to the part where she said that there were no signs. Ladies, it doesn't have to be a slap in your face. It's just something simple as just blowing up, yelling, throwing shit, not letting you speak, cutting you off from family and friends that care about you. That type of shit. Those are also red flags. That is not a sign of love. That's somebody that's trying to cut you off from help and then commit the ultimate act. Sometimes they don't have to put their hands on you for it to be a red flag, right? Changing up financial situations, locating your phone, eavesdropping, looking through your phone, calling your job, shit like that. That right there those are red flags. So when she sat up there and said there was no sign, I don't believe that shit, sis. I don't believe that shit at all. And the ultimate at the end of this story, y'all, she ain't learned a goddamn thing. She got another grape. Dead ass serious. Dead serious. Go ahead, Elle.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are right. There was some red flags that she had to have overlooked because nobody
you got some static, Elle. It's staticky as all hell.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's still staticky now?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay. Let's go.
It will never add up. There was no violence in the home. There were no signs.
Her ex-husband sentenced to 25 years to life in 2019. Michelle speaking out in court.
I will move with a hole in my heart, but a purpose in my spirit. I will die trying to guarantee that the 27 hours I lovingly took to bring that baby girl into the world was not in vain.
but it was in vain. It was. She's still a little delusional, y'all. This is what you sound like when you're trying to conjure up spirituality, and I can persevere through, and I can do this, that, and the third. Those 27 hours of labor were not. He wasn't worth that. He was not worth
No, he was
that.
not. He was not. Oh God, he was not worth that little girl.
Do you know when you go into labor, just because we have modern medicine, that does not mean that you can't die during labor. Are you willing to give up your life for a group of men that don't like children? That makes no damn sense. 27 hours, she's up there crying, and she said it wasn't in vain. Well, you don't have your daughter anymore, and all of this shit could have been prevented. Ladies, y'all at a stage in the game where it can be prevented. I wouldn't get into any new relationships with these idiots. They're getting worse and worse and worse. I've never came up here and said, oh, I didn't get no stories this week.
He did that to hurt her.
He did.
He did it to hurt her. He didn't give a crap about that little angel, right? I bet she probably looked up at him and said, Daddy, why are you doing this? This hurts. You know what I'm saying? You really, he
If y'all
did
have any
that to hurt her.
questions, he smothered her to death. They didn't mention that in this, but he smothered that baby to death.
See, these types of stories is very hard for me to take in. I can't, they really break my heart because our little girls deserve so much better than this. They don't deserve this at all. And that's why I can't fully get on board with these dumbass women running around here telling black women to vet all men. It's funny how that vet all men talk then come about into all this interracial dating then started coming to the forefront or to be the topic of conversation because you damn sure don't vet black men. You never have. But now all of a sudden it's vet all men. No, you bitches cannot vet the black men that you've been dealing with. For some reason, black women are supposed to be so goddamn smart, but you lack basic skills of discernment. Like you can't look at some of these motherfuckers and tell me that you don't know in your heart of hearts that it is something wrong with this motherfucker before you even give him a baby and then turn around and trust him with these babies. We are failing these girls. We really are.
Baby Queen said, where did all the blood come from? Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. Baby Queen, just like the pussy that he is, he made an attempt to slit his wrist to take himself out. Of course, it didn't work because you've seen him at sentencing. But yeah, that's where the blood came from. Right? This shit is ridiculous. This shit is ridiculous.
But even if you do say, okay, I'm going to vet this guy, what do you look at? Because this guy may not have had even a criminal record or anything. I'm sorry. Instead of trying to vet somebody to the nth degree, and they still do this kind of shit, just stay away from them. Just stay away from them. That
agree.
will help you.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with what she was saying. I mean, it would be a lot easier if they would just stay away from them. But since everybody's running around here talking about doing all this vetting, but they're not vetting these men at all. They can't be.
Well,
I mean, they can't
you
be.
can't vet a black man.
You can't. Thank you.
You can't. Point blank, period. Because at any moment with their history, they can flip into some bullshit. Y'all, they let black men onto police forces, military, and all that shit. Y'all don't think they vetting them before they come up there? They vet
and then
them.
they end up killing people.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you gonna do with your little Google search? What you gonna put Anthony Johnson in there and then try to see if he did some shit? You gonna find a Facebook post with him making a goddamn cell phone with a stack of money on his ear because he just got his girlfriend tax return, right? How do you vet him?
Dang,
they really be doing that though. That's why it's funny.
Man, this is dumb as fuck. This is dumb.
I think the best thing is, though, there is a store. It's an online store called Adam and Eve. Okay. If you want a plastic one that looks like a BBC, I would rather you get that. Just leave these dudes alone. Keep your health, keep your life, keep your children's lives. They're not worthy of children. That's a legacy. And he took out his own legacy. He's an idiot.
Let me tell y'all this for the mammies and ladies that are a little resistant calling yourself divested but still fucking black men. That's your life. It is your life. Black women a lot of time like to be indignant and be anti for just because they want to show you that you can't tell them what to do sometimes. And I get it. I get it. But it's not going to hurt the people that you're trying to show that they can't tell you what to do. If you choose to get with one of them, it's not going to affect my life. I left Blackistan. And all the women that you hate that's talking about you need to get out of Blackistan, they're not going to be in that room with you when that motherfucker decides that today is the day. So you might want to find something else to be indignant about because your safety is not one of the things that you should be playing with. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's do a little bit more of this. And I'm sorry that this is triggering for some people, but this is what we're dealing with here.
Despite your best efforts, you couldn't erase her life.
How do you find that strength?
You know, early in my 20s, my mother passed away suddenly. I had to learn how to cope and how to keep going. So I think that some of those building blocks helped me here. But more than anything was my defiance, whatever is trying.
You hear defiance. Defiance. I believe
Okay, she could be
defiance. I believe defiance is what got her there in the first place. Because
Thank
you can't
you.
tell me, you cannot tell me that somebody ain't say, hey, sis, that nigga crazy as hell. Somebody said something and it's, oh, you're prejudging them. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And you're going to make that relationship work with your defiance. Look at where it ends up.
I want them to be defiant. I want black women and girls to be defiant now and say, screw all this. It's all about me today. From today on, it's all about me. And I'm going to side eye anybody who makes my hair stand up in the back of my neck. I'm going
Pretty
to
much.
side eye him and get away from him, stay away from him. I don't care how many queens he calls me. I don't care if he calls me sister queen. I don't care. He's gone.
What
Be
happened
that defiant.
Right. What happened to all of that? Oh, black people and black women, they're the most connected spiritually and blah, 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 blah. But you can't even tell the dude that you laying down with every night gonna snap in a week. You can't tell, but you can read everybody else in the room. It's funny how you're spiritually connected until you get some of that. Dak, what's happening? What happened to the spirituality? I thought you can read folks. Hmm? And I have nothing against this woman, but this right here, a baby girl is gone. So she's getting a little bit of the smoke because she could have prevented all of this shit. All of it. I'm talking about before she even gave this man any. Dead damn serious. Anyway,
Or she could have taken the baby. What she could have done, all right, instead of giving him, because basically she gave him still access to the child, obviously, after they divorced. She could have taken that baby and went vamoose.
Well, I can tell you why she did that, because a lot of us want to prove to everybody that we're not the angry bitches that the world calls us. So she tried to do it the amicable way, and it cost her child her life. Y'all have nothing to prove to people. You don't have to prove anything to people. If they doubt you, then they just doubt you. Don't find yourself trying to prove people wrong for a collective. Really?
When it
She
came to
took,
mine, I'm sorry. I was the bitch.
yeah.
We're
I
not
have
doing the
no
crazy.
problem with, yeah, I have no problem whatsoever with being labeled the angry black woman because hell, sometimes I am fucking angry. So I don't give a fuck if you know it or not. So yeah, I have no problem with the label whatsoever. It's times when you should be fucking angry. And this is one of those times. Because again, like I said, her baby girl did not deserve this. But her mom put her in that position also. Because like DZ said, this could have been avoided. And I know what people are thinking. They're going to say, well, why are you victim blaming? You know, this is the culture that we're in now. You can't tell the truth about a fucking thing without everybody getting up in their feelings. But what you cannot do is bring back this little girl whose life has been snuffed out by
There's
this monster. And these
there
bitches still run around here talking about unicorns.
there's a very fine line between victim and volunteer. Okay. When you know that they're fucked up and you do it anyway because for some reason you think that you found that unicorn, you're volunteering at this point. So victim blaming ain't it. That's not it. Are you indeed a victim? This woman is educated. This woman, she got her head on her shoulders correctly. She didn't misjudge him when she saw him acting a damn fool, because you not gonna tell me he didn't act a fool in some instance. It doesn't always have to be violent. Acting a fool can be leaving your ass at a restaurant because he caught an attitude. That's a red flag. He's supposed to be protecting you. He shouldn't be leaving your ass anywhere. If he's upset with you, he needs to get you to safety, then he can go. But don't nobody want to hear that type of shit. Okay?
May I ask something, please?
Yes.
This is why it's important to stay away from them and be even and still, vet the non-black men, because they said there were no domestic calls to the house. They hadn't had any trouble before. Legally, if she wanted to take that child, she could not, because she had no proof that he was abusive to the child. The law says that one parent can't just up and take the child and keep them away from the other parent when they want to. So, I mean, I'm not trying to, be in a discord with other ladies who say, she should have just taken a child. Legally, she can't do that. And if she would have tried to do that, that man could have possibly brought her up on charges and ended up with full custody, because he didn't have a criminal record. So this is why we need to be very, very careful, and why we just need to completely divest and not deal with any of them, because the law will not back you up if you can't prove that the man is a danger to the child. She has to let him see that girl.
She has to keep her legs closed in front of the from these niggas. I get exactly what you're saying. You're talking about after the fact, after she got with him, after she gave him a baby. Now we got to follow the law, when you could just simply divest in the very beginning.
Right.
How
I agree. That's why it's important to divest, because so you
Mhm.
won't have to worry about that.
Exactly. I'm here with you. Let's get a little bit more of this, and then we're gonna move on to the preference, right? Because technically this woman is a preference as well, right? All preferences don't have to be non-black. And I think y'all know that from hearing what these niggas have said in these streets. But let's go.
Trying to stop me from whatever I'm supposed to do, I shall not be moved. I'm a fighter, and I was going to keep fighting for her.
Day by day, Michelle worked to find the light in the midst of darkness. The one-time GMA producer, relying on her faith and turning to writing to channel her pain.
The profound quiet of your absence, now filled occasionally by the cardinal song. 7 visits from the tooth fairy before the sparkle and fairies were gone.
I'm gonna stop it there, and I stopped it there for a reason. That's the part where mammies would say, "Wow, what a strong woman," and then congratulate her again for marrying another one of these dusty sons of bitches. She took to writing to channel her energy elsewhere. That energy word comes out of Mammy's mouth a lot. That's real crazy. But they would call this woman strong. This woman has had irreparable. She can't get back what happened. Yes, she can find other things to do, but why even let it get to this point, y'all? Why even let it get to this point where you sitting in front of a window, missing your baby girl, having to channel that shit into some writing, creative writing, or journaling? All of this is fine and dandy, but again, this could have been prevented wholesale. Let me get this up off of here, because damn it, the unicorns are foaming at the goddamn mouth, and we gonna get this shit in. Okay, welcome to the panel, Aries lady. Let me go ahead and grab my other video you can add while I'm doing that.
So, good evening, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I wanted to add this. You said something, and I think it was Shane that said something too that triggered this thought for me. Marriage is very easy to get into and very hard to get out of. And for those of us that's been married and divorced, we know what that means. When I got divorced, I understood I was free. And I was married to one of these people that you're speaking of. I'm going to try to be nice tonight. I was married to one of these people. And when I tell you it was the best thing that ever happened, I think that Black women, like you said, so anxious to be married, so anxious that you'll sacrifice your basic common sense, because she had warning, just like you said. We all do. For those of us who've been with people or whatever, you get the warning. Somebody's going to tell you, maybe you want to think about this before you do it. But they'd be like, oh, you hating, you don't want to see me happy with my man, that type of
Fuck
craziness.
that nigga. And
Right.
fuck you if you keep it up.
Right. But they do that. And so that rebellion puts, I think, a lot of Black women in the crosshairs, because you'll walk into that situation for the sake of being married, even if it's going to take, in her case, her child's life. And it's sad. A lot of Black women, come on, we got to wake up with this. And it's not about your unicorn, because none of them are unicorns. Like, the quicker we get this, if everybody get on board, you understand there is not a unicorn out here. You can't be a unicorn if you know that the rest of your tribe, all the other donkeys in your tribe, are donkeys. You're not a unicorn. And if all the donkeys is eating shit, you eating shit too. You doing this. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I think that's the problem. People want to be divested because it sounds cool. They want to be divested because it looks cool. But when it comes down to that chocolate schlong, that's where the line is drawn. So we got to look at it for what it is and understand. You're not divested if you with a Black man. You're just not. If you're a woman, if you're a Black woman and you are out in this world either single or with somebody, that means you're either single by yourself and you're not in Blackistan, or you're with a person that is not of the Blackistan persuasion and you don't have any allegiance to Blackistan. And until that is understood, hey, I don't know what I don't know what they doing on Clubhouse and all of that, but Black, you just can't be. Your man can't be a
Let's
nigga.
talk about the elephant in the room, Aries lady. Let's just keep it real. Anything that Black men are paying attention to, mammies will come. Well, Black men stay in these comment sections, stay talking about divestors, always, hell, even calling themselves divested sometime. So mammies see that shit. And wherever the Black male is looking and showing some interest, Black mammies associate themselves with it, even though they know good and goddamn well they're not divested. So if Black males are paying attention to divestors, they over here talking about, oh, I'm divested too. You don't want to argue with me? Look at me. I'm not thinking about y'all either. Look, I'm looking the other way. I'm divested. Want to talk to me, Naker? What?
It don't flow, boo.
Ladies, take a look at this screen. Now, from everything that we've heard since the internet came into existence, okay, this right here is everything that they want. Right there. This is a woman that's a preference. She has beautiful long curly hair, and he's had 2 children by her. She's completely submissive because she literally stayed with him through thick and thin. Of course, it costed her life, and it also cost the life of her babies, but we're not going to go there yet. I'm showing you her because there is no way to please them. If she couldn't get it done and Black men said that they don't like you, how on earth do you think you're going to get it done? I repeat, if they don't like Black women and they're with their preferences and they still giving them the hell on earth that they provide everywhere they go, why do you think you're getting a unicorn? And the better question is, why do you want one? Aaliyah, please chime in on this shit.
To be honest with you, I don't even know what else to say. I'm just looking at another photograph of 2 beautiful little girls that are no longer with us because it is bullshit. That's why I just keep them as far away from me as possible. I just don't want anything to do with these men whatsoever. And I'm done with trying to beg Black women to divest and save their own damn lives and the lives of their children. I'm tired, DZ. I've been tired. And seeing shit like this only makes it 10 times worse for me. Because again, these children don't choose their parents. And they get the shit end of the deal when they get stuck with these stupid ass people. And it's just, I'm tired.
Well, here's her story, y'all. Here it is. Oh my God.
Hours after walking into a local sheriff's office with his partner and 2 children, authorities say a man in North Carolina killed them and set their home on fire before killing himself.
Since they moved in, which was approximately 2 years ago, we've never had a call at their house. We've never had a 911 call from their house. We've never had a deputy respond to their house.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? He said there were no problems. They have no record of having to go break shit up at that house. None. And they have 2 children. Therefore, that means she's been with him at least 2 years. Y'all, it's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. Keep poking the bear with a honey sandwich in your hand and you're going to get your goddamn issue. Okay?
The sheriff of Davie County says 26-year-old Ishad Ewing Meeks shot and killed his partner, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks. He says Ewing Meeks was also found dead of a gunshot wound with the gun still in his hand. Authorities said Ewing Meeks and his family turned up at the sheriff's office asking to speak with a deputy, but he was vague about what he wanted to discuss. Surveillance video shows them leaving 4 minutes later. About 20 minutes later, investigators say Brown called 911 saying she wanted to speak with a deputy. A deputy called her back 10 minutes later, and Brown said she had a safety concern.
What do you need to speak with an officer about? I'm just needing to speak with them about a safety reason.
Authorities say the call was disconnected. Just over an hour later, a passerby reported that the house where the family lived was on fire. And when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered the bodies. The sheriff says the investigation continues. A GoFundMe account has been set up seeking help paying for funeral expenses and has already exceeded its goal. For Inside Edition.
Let me point out something else to y'all too, ladies. Quit comparing your life to people's highlights. Their Facebook posts and Twitter posts and all these pictures and shit does not tell the story. Don't find yourself comparing your life and your existence. That's a highlight reel. You're comparing your day-to-day life to somebody's highlight reel. Those pictures were beautiful. They had the pumpkin patch. She's smiling. She's gorgeous. She's doing whatever. The father's there, whatever. And here we are today. The fucking house was burnt down and everybody in there are deceased. If you get up Monday through Sunday and every day you have to go through your ups and downs, go to work, go home, go back, go to the store, whatever. Nobody's posting on Facebook the argument that they had with someone unless some bullshit is really, really going on. Your life is not to be compared to somebody's highlight film. They're only posting good times. So this is making women that don't have, their head on straight thinking, well, hell, I can live like that. You sure fucking can. And you see how that shit ended up. This is a hot ass mess. Elle, it's on you.
As y'all stated before, you can't vet them because even if they don't have a background or anything wrong, they always still end up doing shit wrong. So there's nothing you can do but just stay away from them. And I get tired of all of this unicorn talk. I'm tired of it and I don't want to hear it no more because there is no such thing.
Period. And I really feel bad for women having to find out the hard way, but sometimes that's how it has to be. You can say your piece, but ladies, honestly, I wouldn't even say my piece to these people anymore. All the receipts are out there. And if they want to divest, they will. Instead of actually divesting, some of them are staying defiant mammies, or they're saying they are divested while still fucking with Black men. That's the only options, right?
I have a question though.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is it? Because my mother married one of these, And I don't understand. These guys have an attitude towards women that's so virulent that they are willing to try to control you until death. Okay? They want to control you ultimately. That is why, I mean, I like the melanin I'm in. Okay? I like being brown, but I just won't date them. I wouldn't date them because of this. Their attitude towards women is not, oh, I'm going to love and respect you. No, you my bitch, like you're my car.
Mm.
You're a thing. And
Yes.
you know, they want the youngest, shiniest thing, the preference, the underaged girl. Come on.
Hello.
I mean,
Yeah,
really,
that's why I
that is
say
their attitude towards women. That's why I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I
yes,
just
I
couldn't do
agree.
it.
I don't know why anybody would want to do this. I don't know. Maybe it's competition with other women. Maybe it's, some people come off just being flat out bitter. But even if the bitch is bitter, let's just say the woman that's ranting about black men and how you should leave Blackistan behind you is bitter. What you need to look at is the information that's being presented. Is the information real? Did she make up this information? Because her attitude it is of no consequence. She could be happier than a ooh, I almost said something crazy up here. She could be really, really happy in delivering the message, right? But is it time to smile when you're talking about women and children being murdered? Is there a time to smile? Usually the person that's delivering the message is going to sound either neutral or bitter. It is what it is. I don't care about being called bitter, especially by a group of people that are performing the lowest. Really? Okay, let me take my bitter ass over here and enjoy my life. How about that part? Okay?
And it's everything that Ebony just said is exactly why I don't want anything to do with them. They don't have any respect for women whatsoever. This sound like she said they treat women like possessions. You are not my woman. You are my bitch. And therefore they feel like they can treat all women the same. So while these women are running around here talking about not all, well, they treat all of you the same way. So
Ooh.
I mean, it makes no sense. Like these men are not making any differences between the women. Oh, I think I'll be a little bit nicer to this one than I was to the last one. No, they're giving everybody that work equally, and it's usually all about just treating women like nothing. Your tricks, your hoes,
Uh,
tramps.
Aaliyah, I had one man who was trying to be with me, married, okay? And I found out, and I'm like, don't you love your wife? Oh, I love her like I like my nice oak chest at home.
Mm-mm.
Now this was a 20-year marriage, okay?
Mm-mm.
This was a 20-year marriage. This was a possible unicorn. Oh,
Mm-mm.
I like it like like my favorite oak chest at home. She wasn't a person. She was an accoutrement. She was a suitcase. She was a Louis Vuitton. You see what I'm saying? She wasn't a human being with any needs of her own.
Black women so messed up, y'all. They even compete to be the person's side bitch,
Mhm.
bottom bitch. And they've resorted to bragging about those very, very dehumanizing labels. Also that they can say that they have a naker. And it
Mm.
blows my mind. It blows my eyebrows off my face that you're gonna sit up here and say side bitch, hashtag side bitch. Are you serious? Is that all you're worth?
It's irritating to me because they get mad at us for not wanting to be a part of it. It's like, God damn, like, what is your problem? Why do I have to be over there with you? If that's what you want to put up with, you put up with that shit. You can't expect me to, but no, they want to force you to participate in their bullshit. And that's what the problem that they have with divestors. How dare you decide that you don't want anything to do with your own men? And it's like, okay, shouldn't that be my decision who I want to have something to do with? I mean, why? Just because you want to have something to do with them doesn't mean that I should want to. Because unlike you, I'm seeing what the fuck is going on, and I'm actually paying attention. Okay, and I'm trying to get the fuck away. So you trying to run towards the goddamn hurricane or the tornado, and I'm trying to get the fuck out of his path. What's the problem?
Because you are hurting that black man's ego.
That's a
That
fact.
is why they will groom other women for them.
Yep.
I couldn't understand it either for a long time. It's like, why are they messing with me? I'm not even over. No, don't hurt the brother's ego. His ego means more to her than her damn life.
I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to disagree. I don't even now that we are talking about it and I'm thinking about it. I think the Kings has elevation. Yes, the Kings have, but when it comes down to these mammies, it's more about how dare you think that you are better than me as to think you ain't got to be the side chick with me.
Misery loves company. Yep.
Right. I don't think, I mean, the Kings have their place. The Kings is important. But when you decide to say, I'm not playing in that game anymore, I don't even want to entertain it. It's like, who told you?
Colette,
to have
believe me,
standards?
she is just being facetious. Trust me, nobody up here thinks that them niggas is kings, baby girl. I promise
Exactly.
you, she being facetious as hell.
Exactly. It's how dare you think that you're above being one of the minions for the Kings? How dare you? And that to me is more of the case when it comes to mammies and the side chick situation than anything else. They'd rather take second, third, fourth, and fifth place than move out of Blackistan and be number one in your own life, even if it means to be by yourself. It just means that much to them.
Well, I just don't feel bad for them when stuff like that happens, especially the women that have receipts. And at this point, there's not very many black women that don't have receipts. I think if you are above the age of 25, baby, you had the receipts. You got the receipts. And then when you go even a little bit younger than that, and I'm talking about people that have turned into adults, 18 and over, they have some receipts too because they're sitting up here on TikTok and all these extra apps for, the young folks. And they see the things that these black males say about them. And these ain't no old men. These are young men, young nakers telling young women that they prefer white girls over them. And it's just, they're choosing to ignore it. Some people like to give, the younger girls more credit, but some of them are ignoring the smoke that they're given. They're more apt to say not all. And at that age, at this point, you got to understand it's all. If this motherfucker just got finished with some geometry homework and then he turned on his TikTok app to tell yo ass that he doesn't prefer you and he already got his mind made up at that age, the writing is kind of on the wall. So when stuff happens and somebody say, well, they didn't know, I'm tending not to believe that because the shit is everywhere. If you've ever been on one video on YouTube or any other app, your algorithm is going to somehow one day bring one of those videos in front of you. It could be divestment, it could be manosphere, it could be something, but you know that the information is out there. And if you click on any of that shit, you're going to see another video, and then they're going to recommend another video and then another video. So there's your receipts right there, listening to them talking about you like that. And when a lot of us like to say they're not talking about me, that shit happened in the 90s too, when they was doing hip hop and bitch, hoe, slut, blah, 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 and all this gangster rap shit. Black women were saying not me either. They're not talking about me. They sit up there talking about, well, if a hit dog will holler. Sis, they not saying some of you. They just said bitches. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're talking about all of you. They did not specify not you. That was you saying not you. Okay? Not what is your name back here? No, I'm not Dusty. Are you Dusty? No, I'm not Dusty. Are you Dusty? You're up here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove you and give up a seat. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All by nature, welcome to the panel. What you got, sis?
Night, night, night. Thank you for having me. Listen, right now I'm just listening. I wanted to go back to that video with the guy. Oh my gosh, the one that took out his kid. He was dating the preference and he took out like his kid. And they're like, how do you look at your own child and
They
do
don't
that?
like
That's
children all by nature. They don't like children, whether it came out of their ball sack or somebody else's ball sack. That's how they do it.
it's just unfortunate. Like I can't wrap my mind around it. Like your own
No.
kid, man.
Well, I appreciate you. I understand where you're coming from, but to question how, black men could look at their own child and take them out, I'm shit. The ones that haven't done it, that's my question, because they don't like children. They don't. But thank you for coming up.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Bye
Quick
bye.
point. Can I make a quick point and then I'm going to jump down because I know other people want to get on.
Do your thing.
So, again, they've been complaining. The kicker is they've been complaining. I'm talking about the Kangs now for y'all. Your Kangs been complaining about child support. Your Kangs complain about having to pay bills, having to contribute in a basic going 50. Your Kang's been doing all of this for a long time, really. If you're old enough, you remember, they used to complain or ditch child support or did all of that. Now, for those of us that are older, this really should not be a surprise that they straight now just taking out the chillins and flinging them off the bridge and things like that. Is it sad? Definitely, but it shouldn't be a surprise because they really have been leading up to this and been slowly doing it. It's just now it's so much more apparent because I guess now, social media, everything makes it that much more quicker and we see a lot more. But really, they've never really liked kids. They've always complained about it. They like making them. They don't even like making them. They just like sticking their stuff in y'all because you're free and it's available because, the mammies right there to give it to them. But really, we shouldn't even be not concerned. We shouldn't be surprised to see that they're taking out children because they've been complaining about it for a long time. So if you're a woman out here and you don't have any kids with these Kangs, I would think twice if I was you before you do it. Because otherwise you might not have no more kids in a minute because they do it so regularly now. It's sad. So I just want to say that if you're a young lady out there, I would not consider procreating with the Kangs. And I
If
hope
they're still considered procreating with the Kings, then I'm just gonna chalk them up to not having it all upstairs. The lights on, but nobody's fucking home. Because anybody still choosing these motherfuckers, there's something's not connecting. Ain't
but
that much programming in the world.
But they are because they stay out here flinging babies off bridges. So we know that they still doing it. These women still out here giving it, trying to be the side piece, trying to do this, trying to do that. They still doing it. And then if they lucky to stay alive, they want to say they didn't know. I'm going to tell you right now, and I've said this quite a few times before. If you are over 25 right about now and you on social media and all that, shoot, I'm gonna give you 18. You know now there's no excuse for you. There is no excuse. There is none whatsoever. You should know better by now. So for those of you who want to act like you don't know and you want to act like you divested, but you sleeping next to the Kangs, you not divested. And if you're making babies or have made babies, listen, chalk it up, move on with your life and get out of Dodge.
I'm not going for that ignorant shit. I'm not. You know what it is. They know what it is. Nobody's alive right now that can't tell what it is. The social media has been a thing for quite a minute now. And some of these girls don't know a world that didn't have some form of social media available. So anybody saying that they don't have the receipts or they don't know or they didn't know, you just know that they're not ready to completely divest. Or saying shit like, well, I was programmed to think. That could be, but if it doesn't come with a but, comma, I did it anyway, then she's not ready. She's leaning on that programming and basically using that as some sort of excuse not to divest completely because I was raised that way. Well, I'm sure some of y'all had granddaddies and grandmamas that told you shouldn't be fucking before you got married, but you went on ahead and did that anyway. So don't tell me that you can't get away from the Black community because you was raised a certain way. You buck the system whenever you don't want to do it. So if you're blaming the programming, I'm just going to assume that you don't want to do it. You can't tell a Black woman that got her mind made up. Oh shit. She gonna do what she wants to do. So when they lean back and try to blame how they were raised, no. Mm-mm. Nope. You see a lot of people nowadays that don't believe in spanking children, right? Because they were spanked when they were younger. So they broke that cycle and nobody had to tell them to break the cycle. They did it anyway, right? So you can't lean on your raising to say that's why you still fucking around with black men. You stopped spanking children and you were raised being spanked and you broke that on your own. So if you still making excuses to why you can't get away from black men, then I know you're not ready.
Come
Period.
on, Daisy. Say it louder for the mammies in the back. Go ahead. Go ahead. On that note, all the ladies, please have a good night. I'll probably meet you ladies in Discord. Mammies, get it together. Get it together.
Yes, ma'am. I'll definitely be back there. You know I will.
All right.
Jessica, are you dusty? Jessica, are you dusty? Okay, I'm gonna assume the silence means yes. And go ahead and get you out of here, Miss Jessica. Please and thank you. Cammie, are you dusty? Okay, I'm gonna assume Cammie is dusty. Let me do the 5-second countdown so I can make sure that somebody not having technical difficulties. Okay, Cammie is she ain't ready either. All right, Miss Raina, are you dusty?
No, ma'am, I'm not dusty.
Boom, that's how you do it. What you got to add?
Hey, ladies. So I been watching your lives for the past couple of weeks, like at work and stuff, and I've realized something. I've lost one of my friends. She was a baby mammy, and I realized that she wasn't doing any good for my life, and she stole from me. So I cut her off completely.
Good,
And
absolutely.
and I went out on a date this weekend with this guy. He was, he's white and stuff. He's in school and he has like cars and he has his own house and stuff. And he was very respectful. Like it was so good to like and refreshing to go on a date with somebody who's respectful to me. I've never dated a black man, so I don't know how they act, but like I've dated some very disrespectful, other races. But I've realized like, I was looking at this week and I said, wow, I haven't seen a guy disrespectful in a while.
Oh, well, I'm glad shit is working out for you. I appreciate you coming up.
No problem. I was gonna step down and let anybody else speak. I was just saying, like, I've been watching your videos and I've been just, noticing about the baby mammies and all that type of stuff. And I've just lost a little baby mammy that was in my life, and I'm actually kind of happy and I'm glad that I've been watching the videos.
Well, thank you for your support. And you just got a little bit more divested because you're moving mammies out of here. There's another story I'm covering next week, right? Or Friday, excuse me, concerning a girl that ended up happening just what we talked about last time, where she ended up getting killed when her friend's hubby went on a shooting spree in the house. Okay, that happened.
Okay. I'll try to watch it this weekend. I got something to do on Friday, but I'll watch it this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
No.
Cammie, I see that you're back. Are you dusty? Oh, Cammie, are you going for a ban? Okay, I got you. Unlike some folks, I know how to listen. I know how to listen. Let's hit that ban button, and there we go. Welcome to the panel, Miss Gibson. How you doing? You dusty tonight or no?
I'm not.
Like, I'm starting to think y'all on some real good drugs tonight. What? Okay, your mic is screwing up.
Can you hear me?
No, you sound like a robot doing the goddamn WAP. You sound like you doing the stanky leg inside of a computer. Yeah, her mic is messing up. All right. Welcome to the panel, Miss Jean. How are you? I'm glad to see you.
Hey, Miss Jean. Hello there, girls. How y'all doing? Wait a minute.
Hey, Miss Jean.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Oh my God.
Good. How about you?
So sad. These stories are so sad, but now this was an educated black woman. Come on now. That she had to hear something.
Yeah, she knew better.
Something of divestment. Come on. I mean, she's in the media, for God's sakes.
Yeah, so she saw these stories first fucking hand and she went on ahead and let it happen to her.
And she was such a pretty little girl, so sweet and talented, and oh man, taking out our best and brightest.
Yep, and it's going to continue to happen. A lot of these women, they better themselves for the black man. Sometimes it's not just to better
I see
themselves.
that because
Huh?
my sister, she did the same damn thing. She opened up a company here in Chicago called Backlog Limited. The article is in 1980. No. 1993 edition of Black Enterprise magazine. I don't know if it's still in circulation or not. And I sat at her kitchen table with her to help put the company together. Of course, she was married to a nigger. The dude was a janitor, and when the company finally got established downtown on 69 West Washington, she made the dude, her husband, president of the company.
Get
And
the fuck out of here.
I'm not lying. I swear to God, I lived it. This woman was dignitized, niggerized. Oh my God. Oh God, her mother had that in common when it came to these Negro men, and they always looked at me like I was a freak. I swear she made that Negro president of the company because it was a temp service. Okay, that's why it's called Backlog Limited. But she was the founder of the company. I sat at her kitchen table with her to help her because I have experienced in corporate America also. Bitch wouldn't offer me a job, and I did not ask her.
Wow.
I did not ask her. No, but a lot of these black women, I've seen it with my own eyes, better themselves for the sake of black men.
Mm-hmm.
They do that for the derelict Negro male. Let me rephrase that statement. Excuse me, Your Honor. The derelict Negro male. Okay. But I told her, I said, if the situation was reversed and say you was a nanny or a home caretaker and he was a powerful black executive, he wouldn't have looked your way, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, Gene, you just said, I said, oh, okay, sis, okay. And this woman was 10 years older than me.
Damn. Well, black men have laid out exactly what they want. They said that they want somebody that can bring something to the table. Somebody
You got to bring something to the table. You know, I tell Negro in a minute, I said, look, dude, I'm the female, I'm the prize. Well, what you got? Do you own any property?
Okay. Show me. You can show me the deed.
Oh, okay. Are you a landlord or you managing because your mom and dad is the landlord? Well, what's the story? Then they looking at me like I'm batshit crazy. I said, okay. Now, but black women got to stop this. Got to stop this. They like that beautiful. I'll never forget of Michelle Avon. Oh, she just breaks my heart every time I think about her. You know, that's what she did. She bettered herself for a black man. And look where it
damn stupid. That's stupid any way you cut it. Any way
I
you
know.
cut it.
But this is what black women been taught. Better
But you
yourself
want to know
instead of teaching the man to better himself for the woman.
Oh, go ahead, Aaliyah. Sorry about that.
No, but I was about to say to Miss Jane is, you know, what's really sick about this is that we are the ones that they have the problem with, though. That's my issue with black women. No matter how much you try to warn them, no matter how much you tell them or you try to show them what's going on, you are the problem. You are the angry, bitter femcel who's just mad because no black man wanted you. And that's what makes me just go all the way the hell off on these women. Because that's all they see. They can't see past it. It's like, you, girl, did you not just hear a word that I said? And see, that's what makes me madder than anything. That's their, you know, that's all they have to say about us is that you're angry, you're mean, and they haven't heard a thing that we've said, or they don't listen to these stories. They claim that's cherry picking. They don't pay attention to. I mean, I just get to the point where I get so frustrated with it.
Come on.
I wanted to tell y'all something real quick. Y'all remember when I said that it's warming up, right? Winter's gone. We damn near halfway through with spring, and the world is thawing the fuck out. Well, y'all know good and goddamn well when it gets warmer, for some odd reason, nakers get a little bit more violent. Okay.
Yes.
And we're not talking about just the grown nakers, the children as well. Well, I'm getting ready to show y'all something in just 1 second when I check the dust in the back chat and see what's going on, so I can show y'all. Get your ass out of these metropolitan cities. If you can get yourself some transportation, you might need to move like out.
Oh my God.
You need to get the fuck up on out of there, because y'all, this summer is going to be a hot ass mess. I can promise you that. There's going to be so many, and I'm predicting it right now. There's going to be too many stories for me to cover. And I'm going to have to answer emails saying, okay, thank you for sharing this. We're going to end up falling behind because during the summer, they take your ass out. They take each other out. And this is going to be going on until the holidays come around. Now, you mark my words. Keep acting like they playing with you, and you're going to end up on one of these live streams. Okay? Let me see. Tamara, are you dusty?
No, ma'am.
What's going on, Tamara? What you got?
How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, and y'all gonna have to excuse me because I am an extreme introvert and I'm nervous as hell. But I have something to say. I am 40 years old, and I have been like experimenting around with how these dudes behave for, I don't know, maybe about 15 years. And what you said, I totally agree with. They hate kids. And what happens is if you watch them, I was married, I'm divorced, and I don't know if they know that this beast that they have down in them exists until a child comes along. But what will happen is the baby comes and then they realize, oh shit, I'm not the center of the universe anymore to this woman. And they hate the woman and they hate the kid. They will immediately drop both and they will go find another woman with no kids so they can be the center of the universe again. And to like compound the issue, they are going to get with women who are younger, and they're actually like tapping into the younger generation's women. So they're like all stepping over women just to dog them out. And as soon as a kid comes along, they drop them. They go get another younger woman, another woman with no kids. So they keep ruining the women.
They're sucking the youth out of these girls.
Yes, they are.
They're
Yes, they
sucking their
are.
youth out. You know, I saw a meme a couple days ago where this dude was getting ready to, he was implying that he was getting ready to get her pregnant so that he can cancel Hot Girl Summer. That shit was sick as fuck. They be getting these girls pregnant so that their youth can go to trash, and it's ridiculous. And with girls, you know, you have to be careful with their self-esteem. And anybody that's boosting up their self-esteem, they sometimes can't discern that this motherfucker has nefarious reasons for doing so. And they end up with something that they can't get rid of. Okay, because remember, y'all reproductive rights is under attack. Nobody's talking about that. Your reproductive rights are being garnished, baby. So basically, you're going to be stuck with something that you can't get rid of. And that, y'all, is when you're going to see the violence towards the kids increase. It won't be just the nakers doing it. It'll be the mammies that sat up there and believe the nakers. Okay, because they're stuck with this baby that they can't get rid of. The naker doesn't want the baby. She necessarily didn't want the baby. The baby was just to keep the naker. So you're going to see that go up as well. And that's the part I really hate. I hate that shit.
The government is dooming Black girls with rape babies, pretty much. That's what they're doing.
Y'all, it's bad out here. Let me show y'all this shit real quick. The first video is 23 seconds, and then you'll see why it had to be led into the next video. So,
okay, go ahead.
On a chaotic scene near Millennium Park on Saturday night, Chicago police
Look at
say
this
13
shit.
people were arrested during a mob action last night. 10 are children, 3 are adults. They recovered a gun and a replica firearm. Police say they were ready for the crowds in the park, and they kept passersby safe.
That at the end of that little 20-second video, she didn't have all her facts straight. We're going to get the facts straight. She said that the police were able to contain and everything was okay at the park. Actually, no, it wasn't, because it got worse after this report came out. Y'all saw how many of those teens was running around. These people are unsupervised. Okay, let's just keep it real. A lot of them don't have fathers, and they out wreaking havoc. Of course, somebody's going to come on here and excuse it, and you'll hear that too. But let's go into part 2. Oh my God.
We knew this was going to happen, and yet we still looked woefully unprepared.
On the first warm weekend of the year, chaos downtown.
The first warm weekend of the year. The first one. Okay? It didn't even take any time. Remember the lady in the last video? She said they were able to contain it. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Let's go.
Of young people swarming Millennium Park, jumping on cars and breaking curfew.
Arrests did happen, but our Elizabeth Matthews found out more could have been made. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, it's estimated that 400 to 500 people swarmed Millennium Park Saturday night before 10 p.m. Apparently, city leaders knew that it was coming.
Downtown Alderman Brian Hopkins says they knew it was only a matter of time and temperature before this was going to happen again.
A lot of the crimes that went on were allowed to continue simply because we didn't have enough police officers to arrest them, even if we wanted to.
Thank you, mammies. There's not enough police officers to contain. And you know who's the victim of this violence? You. Isn't that cute?
Like in years past, warm weather attracting young crowds to take over Michigan Avenue and break laws. Hopkins says they have a plan, but it gives the city a D- for this weekend's response.
Unfortunately, the resources necessary to implement the plan were not available. So a plan without the resources isn't really worth the paper it's printed on.
Pastors in Chicago fed up with the violence, suggesting block clubs and more activities for kids.
We're going to come outside every night, or as many nights as you can, at 6 o'clock or 6:30. Just eyes on the street, eyes on the block.
That's it.
Pastor Corey Brooks has spent 131 days in a tent on a roof in Woodlawn, asking the public to donate money for a youth center. He says he won't come down until they're breaking ground on his dream of giving kids another option.
The fact that these young people don't have anything to do, they have no place to be creative.
And there's your excuse for that animalistic ass behavior. It had nothing to do with them not having something to do.
Thank you.
Even when they have recreational centers, a lot of those places suffer shootings at those same places. Him standing up there talking about he's not going to come down till they break ground. Wait a minute. What happened to the resources y'all claimed you had? Okay. Every time you need, quote unquote, and I use that term very loosely, that you need something, here you go asking folks to get it for you. That's not going to work. If you keep excusing this type of shit, it's gotten worse even since last year. This is the first warm weekend that they experienced. Okay. Y'all knockout game. Anybody remember that shit? Okay.
I do.
Okay. It's like this. Y'all babies, we are having to suffer that. We not the ones shitting out these little bastards every couple of minutes. If you want them, contain them. Even in a room where there's no pen, paper, or whatever to have anything to do, if your child is behaved, they will entertain themselves. But this is how y'all's kids from Blackistan entertain themselves, by terrorizing other people that just came out to go ahead and feel the warm weather. Y'all, this is getting, go ahead, babe.
You can't blame their mothers for this. That's what they're saying. This is not their parents' fault that this is the culture. This is cultural influence. You can't blame the parents for this.
Really? Well, anytime somebody so-called hurts one of these kids or they fall down the stairs at the mall, you the one collecting the check when you sue. So which one is true, ma'am? Is it you or is it not you? You can't benefit and absolve yourself from any responsibility at the same time.
My point exactly.
They talk out of both sides of their damn mouth. I can't stand this fucking shit. And his effeminate ass talking about, I'm not coming down until somebody break ground. You break ground, pussy. Where's your money?
Stay up there. I don't care. I mean, just stay up there all year. I don't care if you stay up there. I mean, and it's like you said, DZ, even back in the days of the juke joints and everything, some Negro is going to start shooting people, no matter what they have. I don't care how nice it is. Okay? Somebody's going to shoot. Somebody's going to fight. Somebody's going to rape a few girls up in there. Okay? So What is he talking about?
It's no surprise to me that they don't have the manpower to handle this kind of crap because a lot of police officers have quit over the last few years.
I don't
It
blame them.
started, I don't either. I don't either. Why would they want to be? They don't get paid enough to get yelled at and the people to be standing out being openly disrespectful, destroying shit, telling them, calling them all racist and, just over what, it's just, it, all that shit that they did with all of that looting and rioting, what they call AKA protesting and all of this shit, they really fucked a lot of shit up. They really just don't know. And that's why I say I don't think they're ready for what they're asking for, because you see what happens when they don't have the manpower to contain this bullshit. That you got them running buck wild. And these aren't even the adults, the majority of them. So just imagine.
I can imagine, because that's the way the Black community has been since day one. This is not new. It's just increasing because SJW life has taken over. They used to be able to snatch their little ass up and take them, off the streets. But now, you little apprehensive about even saying something to the child, even if you got a badge on. Why? Because you on your 26th year working at the station and you want to keep your pension because you're getting ready to retire in 4 years. Snatching up the wrong mammy's child will cost you your pension. So they saying, fuck it, tear this place up. They're just videotaping you so that they'll have evidence as to what y'all been doing when they do have to take one of you motherfuckers out. And believe me, I can't wait to see what protest is going to happen this summer, because as bad as y'all acting, they're going to have to put one of you down. They're going to have to put one of them down, and then here come the protests. Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Exactly. And I sat here and I looked at it, and it's like every video that came out over the last few years has had one of us in the police officer's face showing out asses. I mean, there ain't no other way to put it. We have really showed our ass on the police the last few years. And this is what's coming to us. This is a direct consequence of it. But they're just getting started. They're just getting warmed up. But hell yeah, a lot of police quit on that ass because they got tired of the disrespect. I'm out here putting my ass on the line to help to save you, and you stand up out here and you curse me out because I'm doing my job. I mean, we really have shown our ass on the police. I don't know how long that they expected that these men and women were gonna tolerate this. They're not getting paid enough to put up with your bullshit.
Y'all remember when we was here on Friday, I said when we came back, there was going to be a story with the issue of the police response to something that went down with someone Black. It never fails. It never fails. On one end, they want you to go ahead and leave them alone. On the other end, they saying, why you not controlling this bullshit? They can't get it right. It kind of mirrors how you, as a Black woman, are viewed in the Black community. No matter what you do, how educated you are, and how compliant you are with the Black community, there's always more work to be done, and you can't get it right. I don't think if you polled the Black community, they can tell you what a perfect Black woman is, because that person doesn't exist, because they don't like you. You're not going to give accolades to anybody that you don't like. It just is what it is. But that's what's falling out of these people's ass. Down to earth. Are you dusty?
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What you got, babe?
Well, most of my talking points were kind of already said. I just left Chicago at the end of December, moved out to one of the suburbs. Lived in a relatively nice neighborhood. It's basically changing. But what I will say is that my cousin she's married to a guy, and he was on the CPD. He was a police officer. And he stayed, he was a police officer for all of like 1.5 years, and he quit.
I don't blame him.
He said the disrespect that they received, he said it was just unbearable. He said that Chicago is in trouble because everybody who could retire, they retired. Anybody who wanted to quit, they quit. He said they cannot bring in enough people to cover what's needed. And he talked about some nights he would be places and you could just sit there and just hear shots all over the place. just nonstop. And he said he just got to the point where he said, we're leaving. And they did leave the state. And he advised all of us, if you can't leave the state, at least get out of Chicago, because he said it's not going to get any better. And he said the leadership or so-called leadership that we have is not helping. He said the attitude of the Black community, that they have no self-accountability for anything, is really what's messing it up.
Yep. I mean, is anybody surprised that this is going this way? And to Aaliyah's point from last time we were here, she was basically saying, let them have it. Let them tear that shit the fuck up. Listen, nobody is going to let you move into their communities. Y'all, have y'all seen some of these new homeowners association guidelines? Baby, if you read it, they don't want you out there, you and your son. So after you ran the police out of your community and now your son's 15, you don't want him to get caught up. Now you run into other folks' community, you and him, they don't want you there. It'll be damn near impossible to follow some of these homeowners association guidelines, even having a thun. Okay? It's not going to be possible, not with the noise ordinances and the other things that are listed on some of these board rules. You're not going to make it. So keep undoing yourself, and you're going to be stuck out there with him and have your fingers crossed every goddamn night that he make it home. Us over here in a divested community, we don't give a fuck whether your kid makes it home, because 9 times out of 10, you had that little motherfucker up under some real weird circumstances. I bet a lot of y'all's kids got step siblings. All of these little situations, y'all got the STD rate running rampant. It's just a mess. It's turning into a dystopic hellhole. What did Trump call it? A shithole. How about that part?
You can't even teach these kids anymore. The teachers are quitting.
Yeah. Teachers, nurses, police officers, shit like that, EMTs, firefighters, everybody's bailing because you can't be contained. And then when somebody makes an attempt to contain the bullshit that's going on in your communities, you call foul. So they give up. They give up. So those of you that don't want any part of that, just save your money and get the fuck on. I don't care if your new apartment is little and expensive. Your safety is worth it. It's worth it. True Gal, are you dusty?
Nope, I am not dusty.
Wonderful. What you got to add, True Gal?
So I just had a couple of points to piggyback on what you were talking about with the kids and the changes I've seen. So I'm a little bit older, and basically, like, there are a couple, and I know you said something about beating children, but I grew up when there was corporal punishment in the public schools. So that should tell you how old I am.
Okay.
And exactly. So, I mean, I was never corporally punished to the extreme, but I remember getting that done one time. They had no more problems out of me. So it's like nobody's taking the responsibility of raising and correcting these children. It's a response that they just don't want to deal with the issues. That's all I can say. Another point of this, I'm thinking that these kids are not going into the military. That was a major thing that cleaned up a lot of the nuance in the community.
Well, back in the day, you didn't have to have certain grades and certain things to get in there. Now there's standards, and those kids aren't meeting the standard. Their grades are way too low to get into some of these, military branches. So they're in the park, jumping on your car and snatching your purse and yelling stupid shit at you. And when nobody can enjoy the park because he couldn't fit the bill to get his ass in the military and possibly get fucking shot. Make it make sense.
Also, DZ, you have to have I think, a high school diploma or GED or something now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to have some of that, and you have to do well on the ASFAB exam, the entrance exam. If you do poorly on that, I mean, maybe you could get a waiver, but yeah, there are some standards, and these kids aren't even. And the ASFAB is not a difficult exam. To me, it's not. But yeah, they can't do it.
It's about a 9th grade level, like basic math and reading,
Yeah.
but they don't have the skills. Like in my many careers working as a teacher, I had a young lady who was in the 5th grade who was sounding out the word the.
Shut up.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Did you? Did you read?
I couldn't do round robin reading at some points, and these, it was. I mean, that's.
Oh God.
I don't like to make fun of people's kids, but it was just sad. And when her mom came up to the school, you knew what the situation was. So, and just one more, like everything's on videotape now. Like I don't think these kids quite get it. Like I don't know what law enforcement's gonna do, but they have videotape. So, they can't squirm their way out of things. And then the last point was a lot of the schools now have taken out basic life skills like home ec, which taught you how to cook and take care of your house and clean and budget, woodwork, and a lot of the trade professions. So
can I tell you why that happened?
Yeah, sure.
That happened because if you know anything about the education system, it's funded by the local house taxpayers. It's funded by the taxpayers. So if you have a county and the majority of the county are entitlement program folks and they aren't paying taxes. So a lot of those extracurricular teachers had to be let go and they had to remove it because they couldn't afford it. Okay. This comes from that entitlement bullshit. You think that the school is somehow just funded by the government. They get basically a stipend for the year to give you a basic and proper education. Well, the extra shit, the shop, the word processing classes, home ec, like you mentioned, shit like that, mechanics, gone because that's extra. And being that they're not getting any tax money from the residents that are in that county, they can't have it. So when you talk to the collective Black folk, they say, oh, they just took it out the school. No, that was half the issue. It was because schools are funded by the citizens in that county. They didn't just say, hey, let me go ahead and take shop out of Black public schools. That's not what happened. Since you guys are Title I, okay, I know I'm hurting some feelings right now. If your school is Title I, that means that the majority of the kids are on a free lunch program and there's no real tax dollars coming to that school system. That's really all it is.
And let's be real, it was that, and that was the majority of it. But it's also, come on, if you went to an urban high school, you already know those kids were not using those classes for what they were supposed to be used for. That's the reason why they had to discontinue a lot of that. That's why it would be certain sports and stuff that you would see in other schools in other districts that weren't in certain urban inner city schools, because they couldn't give them bats. They couldn't, you see what I'm saying? Like they could take their ass in workshop and they'll make a weapon to kill somebody with, or, I don't like this bitch anyway. So they go in wood shop and make a weapon and come back out and try to shake somebody's ass with it.
Can't we deport those people?
Mm-hmm.
Can't we just deport them? I'm serious.
Let's be real. It's just certain things that they could not give those children in certain schools. Like you can't. And I remember in my high school, they had to stop giving them lunch trays. Literally, if you remember the original lunch trays, that hard plastic lunch tray,
yeah,
that was what it was. They fought in the cafeteria so bad. They was hitting each other with those damn lunch trays, and they just stopped giving. And the next thing you know, they're giving everybody this styrofoam plastic thing to eat out of. They can't give them real silverware because, again, you're gonna make a weapon. These schools are war zones. And they know this. So there isn't, and I went to school at inner city high school. So I know there wasn't much that couldn't be made into some type of weapon. So they couldn't give these kids this stuff that they gave these other school districts.
There's something wrong with a child who wants to make a shank in the first place, like they're in San Quentin.
I mean, that's what they would do in wood shop. I mean, no cap. If anybody could get on here and say that what I'm saying is not true, they a damn lie. Cause
That is bizarre.
I went to high school with these very same kids, and all they did was fight all the fucking time and look for something to destroy somebody with. And that's the
Wow.
reason why you would never see them teaching them baseball or archery. That's why the best they can do is basketball and football and all this other shit. Because it's only certain sports that they can give them. Like, okay, this is a weapon. We already know they're gonna be hitting each other with this shit.
Oh
So
my
we
God.
cannot give them this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so when they say school to prison pipeline, baby, nobody's preparing your kid to go to fucking prison. Your kids are preparing themselves to go to prison. Didn't you tell him that's where his daddy at? He want to meet his daddy. So he done went down to the softball field, got him a goddamn bat, and he went to swinging. Okay? She right about that. They used to, I remember that. They fought in my school all the time for the pettiest shit. And nowadays you can't even suspend them but a certain amount of days because of No Child Left Behind.
Oh God.
I know.
God.
I know.
Oh.
Racy subjects, are you dusty? Racy subjects, I know you ain't dusty. Say something.
I'm sorry, I had to mute. I was trying to take it off of mute. Hi, DZ. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me well. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, so as you guys know, I said before that I live near Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago. And about 10 years ago, I moved back to the city. But then but about a couple years ago, I moved out of the city. So I live in a nearby suburb. But I just had to, I had to chime in on the last topic about the kids running wild in Millennial Park. And I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to happen. I even told my own kids, and my kids are biracial. And I have 2 adult sons, and then I have my daughter's about to graduate from high school. And I told them, I said, if you guys plan to go anywhere over the weekend, please, please, please stay to a certain area. I need to know where you're going because it's going to be out of control if you're going in Chicagoland. And luckily they didn't have plans, but it is crazy. But I also want to back up the point where I recently overheard, I was getting my hair done and my stylist got to talking to someone else in the salon about a restaurant that she recently went to, a newish black-owned restaurant in Chicago.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So she started complaining to the other woman. She says, I will never go there again. Now listen to this, you guys. This is supposed to be a nice black-owned restaurant. However, to even get in the door to dine, you have to be patted down. You have to be wanded down. And my stylist was like, I have never in my life, she says, they had to search us before we could go into the restaurant and eat. She says, what kind of mess is that? And so I didn't say anything. I'm just listening to the conversation. So the other lady said, yeah, well, when I ate there before, the reason why they did that is because several weeks ago, someone got shot in front of the restaurant.
Of
People
course.
were shooting. So I almost asked, what is this restaurant? Because I never want to go there. But then I said no, because I don't go on the south side of Chicago. Most of the violence is concentrated on the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago, which, ding, 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 no surprise, are predominantly Black areas. Now, there's also white areas on the south side of Chicago, predominantly white, like Mount Greenwood. And they don't have that shit going on. Those people are like working class white people. And I'm not saying they're the best, they're racist, but you don't have the type of shit that you have, sorry for my language, but you don't have the kind of mess in their neighborhoods on the south side that you have in the predominantly Black neighborhoods. It is a war zone. I don't like, I stay away. I have family that live on the south side. I don't go to Thanksgiving gatherings. I don't go to parties when I'm invited. I do not go. And someone just wrote, don't go past 63rd Street. No, I wouldn't even go to Hyde Park. Because
I'm not familiar with Chicago. So that
Hyde Park is where the Obamas live. That's where the University of Chicago is. And it's actually supposed to be an affluent area on the South Side. It's where the University of Chicago is, where the Museum of Science and Industry is, and where the Obamas lived when they were here. And now it's getting out of control. There's shootings happening there. It's always making the news because there's something going on. It's always something going on because, you know, these wild individuals are encroaching on areas like that. So it's like Chicago can be a wonderful city to be in, but guess what? You have to stay you got to stay downtown or north side. If you stay downtown and north side, you'll be
You see,
okay.
this is like the Blackistani map, like what I just put up there. It says, what are they doing that's racist? Now, see, this is why I want to expand on that. You just said that on the white side, there's not as much bullshit going on in way of violence and all of that shit there. On the black side, there's a lot of bullshit that's going on. So if they don't want that over on their side, is that racist?
It's not racist, DZ, if they don't want that mess in their neighborhood. So that's definitely not what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying it's racist over there, it does have a history. They do not want, and they will resort to violence to keep Black people out. Now, some people's like, well, that's A-okay, resorting to violence to keep Black people out. But I have a quick story. When I was in high school, I went to Morgan Park on the south side of Chicago. And we were invited to the South Side St. Patrick's Day parade. We were invited to march, our band, and I was a majorette at the time. And so we marched in the parade, and let's just say the people were not happy we were in that parade. They basically threw bottles at us, glass bottles, all types of things they threw at us and called us, you know, the N-word the whole time, to the point where we had to be pulled out of the parade, and it really shook us up. It was traumatizing. So I don't think they've participated in another Southside Irish parade, Morgan Park, but since then,
So goal
it was traumatized. It was traumatized.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Goal
I can
accomplished.
concur with that, DZ. I lived in Oak Park, and it borders Forest Park, and then there's Berwyn and Cicero, right? And Berwyn and Cicero were places that we were told, old Italian, don't go there ever. Okay. And those people they have a tendency to get violent. If they saw a Black person coming down the street, they literally will watch you in your car. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is a suburb of Chicago. I mean, this is not in, it's in the Chicagoland area, but yeah, she's absolutely right. There are just some places in Chicago that you just don't go. And
I
I'm
would
sorry.
love to have that type of protection for my neighborhood. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Y'all get your bed wenches ready. Because, honey, if we come as Black women, what are we bringing with us? Our uncles and brothers and cousins. And nobody wants to lose equity in their home trying to seem nice. That's just my opinion. It is what it is. And also, I equate that to when you go to Los Angeles, there's certain areas where you're Black, they're Black, but if you got on a certain color, they gonna fuck with you. So it boggles my mind how one is different from the other. If you don't know certain areas, right? You don't know what colors to wear. You happen to be Black, the person that's wearing the opposite color is going to end up attacking you. But then when Black people talk about racism, they somehow don't understand how just a color can get
Thank
somebody
you.
worked up. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Thank you.
I mean, I get what you're saying, DZ, and you're right. The thing is, as unfair as it may seem, they have to protect their interests, their neighborhoods, their investments, the things that they've purchased. I'm sorry, but we have made shit this way to where people hate to see us coming and don't really want us around because they know all we do is kill, steal, and bring death and destruction with us. And they don't want any parts of that. I'm sorry, but when this is the reputation that you create for yourself, people can call it what they want, but it is what it is.
I'm wondering if Black people can actually see themselves in terms of objectively, because it's like, it's strange to me how, okay, you're going to be mad if somebody is protecting their property values, protecting their families. And Black folks don't really value shit. So they don't mind destroying shit.
Yeah, and it's
Ultimate
our
Gemini.
fault that
Let me say this real quick, Aaliyah. I know that you may be tired of hearing we or us, but you got to catch us, the spirit of what we're saying. When somebody doesn't know Ultimate Gemini is divested and they just see you as a black woman, they're going to assume, and rightfully so, that you, number one, prefer nakers. Number two, you're going to be a SJW. Number three, that you're going to protect black men. Okay. That's what they're going to think when they first see you. Cause the majority of us, let's just keep it real. We do that shit. We do that shit. So when they see us coming, a lot of times they think we finna bring nakers with us. And that's what pisses me off with the mammies, because they're constantly touting the sign that how much they love black men and blah, 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 blah. And we get thrown in with that shit. And that shit is annoying as hell. It really is. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
oh no, I forgot what I was about to say, but go ahead.
SJW is social justice warrior. That's them people that's out there fighting so that black men can do whatever crime they want to without, having to answer to the police, making it to where they don't have to do as much time because they're black. Just it's a gimme culture where they're always victims 150% of the time. Dead serious. That's all SJW is. There's another component to that I can't talk about up here because the multi-letter mafia is amazing. So it's being a SJW. It's quite the fuck boy status. I'll just put it like that.
DZ, can I say one last thing? It's racy. If it's okay. One last thing. So like, what kind of have changed my mind? Because I guess I was at one point a social justice warrior, even though I haven't dated a black male since the 90s. But but I changed my mind because something happened in 2020. Someone very close to me, a close friend of mine, was almost murdered. She's in law enforcement, and she was almost murdered in a shootout. And she was caught in the middle of a shootout between, two black males. And what she said to me, it took her a long time to even talk about it. We recently talked about it. She wasn't even willing to talk about it. She was so traumatized. But what she said to me, she said, I've been working this job for years, for a long time now. And I've been able to do my job and not really feel that sense of like worry and the stress that I feel now. She says it's gotten to the point where they just don't care. When a black male who is on probation can pull out a weapon in front of with a law enforcement officer right there and just start shooting across the street at somebody else, and they shoot back. Where are we at now? They don't care. They don't care if law enforcement's standing there. They don't care if your grandma's standing there. They don't care if your 2-year-old child's riding their tricycle down the street. They're going to shoot regardless. And they don't care who gets caught in the crossfire. They don't care about the consequences at all. And so this is where we're at. And so I get what you and Aaliyah are saying about, other groups protecting their neighborhoods. I get that. But the sad thing about it is that black women, we need to wake up because we're getting caught in the crossfire. We're getting caught in the crossfire, whether we're being murdered, raped, discriminatory practices just by association with black males. We are getting caught in the crossfire, and it's not going to get better. So
And that's what we're trying to tell them. That's the reason why we do this, to try to put that message out there so they can understand. But we are the bitter, hateful ones, though, by telling the truth. So everything you're saying is true, but that's the reason why we say this. And that's a part of the reason why we're constantly attacked, because they're looking at this as an all-out attack on black men. That's how the mammies view this. So no matter how true it is what you're saying, they are willing to get caught up in this bullshit, and they're going to go down with this ship. And that shit going to be like the Titanic.
Iceberg ahead. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not really concerned about some folks that don't want their neighbor. Listen, if I can throw me some goddamn bottles and stop motherfuckers from moving into my subdivision, yo, give me the bottles. Because, boy, they will tear up a neighborhood, and it does not take long at all. The first people that come out there that happen to be from Blackistan, for some odd reason, I'm starting to think that they're hard of hearing because the music is so goddamn loud you can't hear yourself think. And you can't listen to it in your house. Oh, no. You got to go outside in your Chevy, right? Or a Chrysler 300 or whatever niggas is driving these days. I don't know what the fuck they driving. But they got to get in the car in their little driveway, turn that shit all the way up. Don't forget the Newport, right? And if you say anything to them, there goes the goddamn neighborhood. It's just as simple as that. So hand me the bottle. Give me the bottle. Child. Winter, are you dusty?
No, I'm not dusty. Can you hear me well?
I can. What you got, babe?
Okay, so I actually kind of forgot what I was gonna say when I came up here because I was like, holy shit, I'm on the live. But so for the record, I'm only 18 years old.
Okay.
I've been watching your content for a bit of a while now, ever since you first started, and a few other content creators. And back to the whole public school thing, since it hasn't been long since I've been in public school, I could probably, well, no, I'm not going to share them, but like in full detail, but
Yeah, if it's any identifying information concerning you, don't do that because I have a lot of trolls.
okay, I won't. So it reminds me of a lot of things that I went through in elementary through high school. Yes, as young as elementary, as early as elementary, there was some bullshit going on, especially since I've only been to predominantly black schools since I live in a predominantly black area. One of the things that I remember very well is we used to have to go into the school with like metal detectors and shit, that's common for schools in the area. And I remember one time that there was like this rumor going around that there was a kid that brung a gun to school. And I was kind of thinking to myself, because at that point I was like on some SJW bullshit, but I was like, dang, that's the first time I've ever heard a black person bring a gun to school before.
Yeah, they're just not caught. They have them all the time. All the time. Whenever something breaks out at a gas station, no matter where you are, somebody who has an unregistered gun has it, and they're usually nakers. You know, as a law-abiding citizen, you got to go through all this paperwork and shit. And shout out to Governor Kemp for changing that here in Georgia. That's what I'm talking about. You have to go through the rigmarole to be armed, to be able to, return fire when one of these motherfuckers start acting stupid. But they get their guns off the street. Okay? It's just dangerous as hell. So they used to bring guns to school all the time. Even back when I was in high school, they brought guns to school. If they weren't caught, unless somebody dropped a dime on them. But hey.
Yeah. There was also like a lot of fights. Well, not really like every day or whatever. It's like there was a lot of fights that happened, mainly between two females. And it was a situation where I just simply couldn't learn anything because the kids were always screaming and shouting and causing trouble and
standing on desk and acting a fool, talking out of turn. They're in the hallways when they should be in the class, not coming with a pass or anything because they don't have a legitimate reason. They're absent a lot, right? I know what you're talking about. My sister's a teacher.
It also reminds me of one of my elders telling me that if you've heard of the movie Roots, that slavery movie, she told me that around the time when that movie first came out, there was like black kids jumping white kids and just automatically assuming that they're racist because, hey, there's this white person in the movie that's playing as a slave and this white person is right here. Why don't I just beat the shit out of them? Because why the fuck not? And
yep, I remember that as well.
Yeah, black schools are really traumatizing. And they're really traumatizing a lot.
They are. I wouldn't put my kids in no black school to save their goddamn life. I'm dead ass serious. There's no learning going on there. VW, are you dusty?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What you got, VW?
Hey, I live in in the sticks of Chicago. Grew up here most of my life. And to the point where y'all was talking about the racism and stuff. And if you read all these articles going back since forever, how Chicago is the most segregated city in the nation. And at first, excuse me, I used to be like, yeah, that is kind of messed up, because I could tell you every what they call communities that was like you as a Black person, you knew not to go there, right? And at first I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of messed up. But when we bought our first home, they closed the project, so we stayed at, we was the second Black family to move into this neighborhood. It was a suburb bordering Chicago, and we was the second Black family moved to the neighborhood. Why 10 years later, when they shut down the projects, they sent all those Negroes out to the south suburbs. And I think that's the thing too in America. If you hear anything south, just know there's gonna be some Black people there, okay?
Yeah, and the street Martin Luther King is normally the most dangerous street in the city.
Yes, and always violent, always violent. And so we end up. I tried to get a block club going. All these Black folks were talking about, let's just pray on it. And I'm like, that's all we're gonna do. So we put our house up on the market. And sure enough, that first suburb we moved to, that became one of the most dangerous suburbs in Cook County. Now, the second house we bought, it was nice too. But then, like about 5 or 6 years ago, when some of y'all moved from that suburb we moved from to that suburb, guess what happened? Long story short, I get why these folks that, some of us want to call racist for not wanting us to be in their neighborhoods. I totally get it.
Exactly.
And let me tell you this real quick. I used to work for a utility company in Chicago, a huge utility company. So I went from O'Hare to the border of Indiana. I had to go in all kind of neighborhoods. I wasn't even scared to go into the so-called racist areas. But when we used to get calls on the radio, it would be calls always, avoid this area on the south side, avoid this area on the west side, avoid this area on the south side, reroute, go somewhere else. So we end up usually have to go up north to, do work and stuff. But the thing, in my experience when I was working as a technician for this utility company, I went into the racist neighborhoods. Those folks was the nicest folks to me.
Yeah, they're just literally, when Black people call folks racist, it's basically saying they don't want my sons around there. That's all it is.
That's it. And I mean, these, and even when I would go into some of these people's houses and they would see me, and I'd just be like, whatever. They don't let me in, I ain't mad. I just say I can't get access. I'm still getting paid by the hour. They find out, they start offering me water, food. So nice. Even some had called down to my shop and was saying how nice I was. But guess what happened when I go into the hood, though?
Hey, you better preach about it. I already know what you're getting ready to say.
Guess what happened when I go into? Guess who's been threatening me the most?
I already know.
And then, real quick, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I don't know if y'all ever heard this story about Martin Luther King when he came to Chicago for a march. And the mayor at the time was Mayor Daley. He was like Bull Connor in the Midwest, okay, in Chicago. He was something else. And they marched over in this one community called Marquette Park. And a lot of KKK folks used to live over there. It was so bad. Like when my parents first got here, my dad, he could not drive through that area to get to work. He had to take another route to get to work. That's how racist it was, okay? But he said, Martin Luther King said, I have had my share of racism down the South, but I never experienced racism like I experienced up here. And that was over 50 something
years. It didn't stop him from fucking white bitches, did it?
Well. That's irrelevant, all right? But anyway, irrelevant. But anyways,
these niggas, I swear.
So yeah, but Marquette Park was something else. It was something else. But now when I look back on it, I wasn't mad at some white folks. But now that same racist neighborhood, Black folks, when they start letting the banks start giving Black folks loans to buy houses, this, that, and the third, and they start moving over to the Marquette Park, child, you can't go over there in broad daylight now.
Yep, and it's because of niggas.
You can't go over there in broad daylight now. And Mount Greenwood, which one was mentioned in this live, it's still kind of like that, but niggas getting over there, tearing up there too now.
Spreading like metastatic cancer. Do you understand me?
And I tell anybody, and me, I'm just waiting for my divorce stuff to get final, and I'm the fuck up out of Illinois, period. I tell anybody, do not even live on the border suburbs of Chicago, because they coming in there and tearing up too.
Man, listen.
And I used to live in Atlanta, and it was like the same thing. I was like, damn, roaches everywhere.
I hope you didn't think Atlanta was gonna be better.
Yeah, I was there 6 years ago. I stayed there for about 2 years, and I grew up down there as a kid. It wasn't like that. But these Midwestern black folks, I'm telling y'all, they're a whole nother breed. They're a whole nother breed. They start coming down south. Even where I was born in Alabama, it's terrible. I'm telling you, everywhere they go, they like termites. They destroy everything that they touch. They are terrible. And actually, and then I used to have to work with the police a lot too. And at first, you hear black folks, "Oh, the police don't give a fuck about us. They take too long." This and that. When I was out there in them streets, seeing what I was seeing and talking to them police officers, I get it.
Yep.
I get it.
They can
But
call us
I'm
what they
so
want
glad
to.
that y'all calling this pseudo racism. I call it made up by black women because they to protect the black men. Because if white people are so racist towards black people, then why the black men ain't taking care of this? Why is it always the black women in the front lines? Dumb.
If it's so bad for black people, why are they still reproducing? Why don't you care about your children enough not to bear them in a racist world like this? Nobody believes you. Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me show you something. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Somebody sent this to me, and this is a YouTuber's post. Let me go and get it in. Y'all already know what I'm getting ready to do. This was a YouTube post by a very, very, very interesting woman. I will not call her name out. If y'all are subscribed to her, you know what it is. So, all the stuff that we've been talking about up here tonight.
I already know who that is.
Okay. This is why they don't like to see you coming. This is how you feel about your sons that you know are fucking up. It's clear that her son was fucking up because he just got out of prison. It says this pics of me loving and nurturing, mind you, he's grown, nurturing my son after he got out of prison. Excessive use of emojis. And there it is. Ladies, you better separate yourself from these women. I'm not kidding with you. You're going to have to make a very, very bold line of delineation between you and them. This is made on public platforms. This is not something that's private. This is not something that's private. This is sad shit. It's almost as if you reward them for this nonsense. So when you say folks is racist, baby, that ain't it. If they treating you some type of way, it's probably because of that dude you call your daddy behind you, dude you call your son behind you, dude you call your brother behind you. Nobody has ever had a testimony that says that when the black men came, the neighborhood got better. Not one. There's a neighborhood about 10 miles away from mine. While the prices of houses are going up, right? There's a neighborhood that the folks, quote unquote, done found out about. Since those folks with the funds done moved in, they have lost an average of $10,000 of equity off of their property because that is what your sons are bringing. They're bringing nothing but financial trouble, violence, and nonsense. Those of you that don't want to divest, it's on you. It is what it is. You do what you do. But this relationship looks incestuous and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. What about the victims of the person that's being rubbed down right here? What about them? What about all the victims of all these niggas out here that we've showed tonight? Okay? I didn't even have time to show you everything. Y'all seen my watch later fucking videos. We didn't watch all that shit. There's no time. because they're committing the shit faster than we can even get to it. It's getting warmer out here. Make your next move your best move and get the fuck on. I have to go get this hard R off my tongue and refuse to say it up here because I don't want no smoke. But y'all know what's up. Get to safety, ladies. That shit ain't worth it. Bartering with them, arguing with them, reasoning with them, conversing with them, fucking them, doing anything with them is not beneficial to you and your safety and your mental well-being, point blank, period. Okay? I love you ladies to pieces. I'm going to see y'all next time. Let me go cuss. Bye.
Thank you.